Hello, how's it going? So today we're going for a hip mobility focus class and also focus on splits, front splits. So to start, as always, start warming up your body, your hips, especially with cars. Do some high effort cars on your hips. I won't do it with you today, but just do it on your own. You need to pause the video to go ahead and do it. Do some hip, some knee cars, and then if you can do some cat and cows, and your whole body of cars. If you haven't done it today yet, then do everything. And then once you're ready to start. In terms of equipment, today we need either a chair or an elevated surface. It can be table. I could do it here as well. So just an elevated surface. Then one or two sticks can be helpful. Otherwise, you can hold yourself. The sticks today are just for balance. So you can hold yourself on the wall as well. And last one, yoga blocks can always be useful for some drills. So if you have 2-3 yoga blocks, great. And that's it. Towel or maybe pillow to protect the knee for some of the drills. So let's get straight to it. Oh, and last one, we just need something to block. I'll show you the drill later, but a wall or even a sofa, something that won't move, just an immovable surface will be perfect. I'm using a weight kettlebell, so you can use a kettlebell as well, but actually if you go on next to the bed or any movable surface, it'd be perfect. All right, so to start, assuming you already warm up with your cars, we're going to start today working on the hamstring. So grab your chair. For me, I have a few blocks on top of the chair to bring it a bit more elevated. And we're going to bring the right foot up first. Now you don't need to completely lock out the knee. You can if you want, but otherwise sometimes we find a better hamstring stretch if we bend the knee a bit. If you straighten the knee and you feel the stretch in the back of your hamstring, perfect. But for other people, you might feel it more under the knee, and it's okay. But today actually I want to focus on the hamstring, so maybe bend the knee a bit more. Now, find a comfortable position there. What I want you to do, now instead of folding forward, I could fold forward and go deep, but instead of that, what I want you to do is focus on the pelvis. So stay there, then try to do an anterior pelvic tilt, trying to bring the hip bones up as much as you can. And already there, if you do it quite strongly, I'm already feeling the stretch in the hamstring there. So just bring the tailbone up, and if you do it well, if you haven't done it, if you don't know your pelvic movements as well, it might take some time to get used to it. But once you know it, once you know how to do that movement well, then you'll find the stretch quite easily there. Of course, if you need to intensify more, you can bring your chest lower, but try to keep a straight spine. And instead of rounding forward today, try to just focus on that hip movement. And just stay there. You're with the hip back, feeling an intense stretch in your hamstring. You can have the knee bent. As you see, I have my knee bent and I feel a great stretch in my hamstrings right there. We're going to stay there with the hamstring stretch for a bit. Just holding it so you can, go into your parasympathetic nervous system, trying to slow down the breath, relax. Just breathe and stay with the stretch. Over time, if you're able to go a bit deeper on the stretch, amazing, going deeper. Here, depending on your flexibility as well, usually the height of the chair right there will be perfect, but if you're more flexible, you can use a more elevated surface. Continue breathing there, just 30 more seconds to stay in the passive stretch, and then we'll start with some high intensity isometrics, bells and rails. For now, just continue relaxing down. And in 10 seconds, we'll get started. So, don't need the sticks anyway. So first one, we're going to imagine as if we want to press the heel into the blocks or into the chair. as hard as you can, as if you wanted to do this movement with the leg. Of course, without moving anything. So here, if you're using your sticks for balance or the wall, you're also going to contract the whole body strongly, and then we start to ramp up. So start pressing the heel, engaging the hamstring into the block, into the chair. Sorry, for 50-60% intensity, up to 70-80% intensity, and then going as strong as you can to full intensity, as hard as you can, trying to crush the chair below you for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Don't change anything, and instead just try to engage your hip flexor as if you're trying to lift the foot off the chair. Of course, you should be at your end range, so you should move the pelvis at all. If you move the pelvis and come out of the position, you can actually lift, but I don't want you to do that. I just want you to engage without moving anything, as if you wanted to lift, but at your end range, so it won't lift. And you should even feel the hamstring even more intense. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now maybe try to go a bit deeper into the stretch. I'm actually going to lower it down a bit. Just stay there. I think if I lower it down a bit, I'll find a better stretch because I can put more weight on it. That's it. And then another round. So start to press the heel into the block to 50-60% intensity, then bringing it up to 18-90. Start pressing as hard as you can. 10 more seconds. As hard as you can, engage your whole body there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax for a second, and then the other way around. Try to engage your hip flexor as if you wanted to lift the foot off the blocks of the chair. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. For the last one, you can stay exactly in the same position, or you can kind of move around a bit the foot, trying to notice how that feels. So maybe you go more into the inner thigh if you want to work on that. If you have any particular area of your hamstring as you move that feels more intense, you can move your torso around a bit. Just play around a bit for the last one to try to find a better stretch. So for me right there, I feel a nice good stretch. And let's do the last one. So start pressing the foot onto the block, 60-70%. Now going as hard as you can for 10 seconds. Hold it, breathe. Press every muscle in your body. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And the other way around. Try to engage your hip flexor to push up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Then, before we switch sides, let's do some lift ups. So now you can change the position a bit, but try to find a position where you can lift and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's it. Relax and switching sides. So bring the left foot on top of the chair and go into the other side. So find a position where you feel the stretch. We're going to stay for a minute and a half in the passive stretch. So let's find that nice stretch. Again, you can bend the knee a bit more. That can help you to find it, and make sure you're focused on just bring the tailbone out in that anterior pelvic tilt instead of rounding the back, keeping the back straight and finding the stretch that way. Stay there. Let's breathe in. Trying to relax down. Bring that parasympathetic nervous system response. And we're going to start with those isometrics. So first, start pressing the foot into the chair, same as the last time. Start engaging. First one, be a bit more gentle, 50-60% intensity. Then slowly going up to 70, 80, maybe 90%. Or if you feel ready, as hard as you can. Or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax, and the other way around. Engage without moving anything, just engage in your hip flexor as if you were trying to lift the foot off the floor, of the chair. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Maybe try to go a bit deeper into the stretch, again without rounding the back, trying to focus in bringing the hip bones up even more, that anterior pelvic tilt even more. And going for a second round, so start pressing the foot into the blocks, into the chair, 70-80% intensity, this time going a bit harder, as hard as you can, safely of course. Hold it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax, and then other way around, engaging the hip flexor, and hold it there. Trying to lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. All right. And last one. You can move around a bit. Try to find a better stretch or a part of your hamstring that feels a bit tighter, to find the best stretch that you can possibly find. Then, right here, feels very good for me. And last one. So start pressing the heel into the blocks as hard as you can. Almost there. Engage your whole body. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then the other way around, straight away, trying to lift the heel off the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Stay in the stretch just for another 5 seconds, maybe going a bit deeper. Then try to come up a bit, so then you can actually lift the foot up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Release. And we're going to the next one. So for the next one, I'm going to use the kettlebell, but you can use a wall, or better a couch, something that is an immovable surface that cannot move. So what you're going to do, I'm just going to show you with the kettlebell, but in place of the kettlebell, you can use your bed, whatever you have handy that doesn't move. So you're going to press the ankle, the right ankle, starting with the right hip. So right ankle on the kettlebell or the bed. Here I will have the bed on this side. So from there, your foot cannot move in that direction because you have the bed, the kettlebell, whatever it is. Then you're kind of in a lunge position. And from there, you're going to move your torso to the right. So you're going to start to rotate the torso. And there, you are going into an internal rotation of the hip, just by moving the torso around. Instead of moving the hip, you're moving the torso around, the foot cannot move, so you're bringing that hip into internal rotation. Now usually when we work on internal rotation, we do it with a hip flexion bias, our hip is up, and then we rotate. Here we're doing inter-rotation, but with a hip extension bias. We have our hip to the back in extension, and from there we rotate. And we're just going to stay there, so try to find that position where you feel a stretch in that hip, in that rotation, and just stay there. So try to make sure you engage in the glute as well to keep that hip extension, and then try to find that inter-rotation stretch. In this position, sometimes it's hard to find this inter-rotation unless someone is helping you. You can be lying on your face down and then someone is bringing you to hip inter-rotation, but otherwise it's hard to find a stretch there into inter-rotation, so this position is quite good to do it. Now, almost there. We're going to, now I forgot to mention, I have my knee in a towel. You can use a pillow to protect the knee in case it hurts. Now the only thing with the pillow is that now we're going to do some isometrics, and with the pillow the knee might move around a bit. So, but if you find a position where your knee cannot move, your foot cannot move because it's against a wall or some immobile surface, then it's fine. Just you can protect the knee if it hurts. For me it's okay, so I don't need to protect it there. We'll start with some isometrics now. So first you're going to try to imagine as if you want to press the foot into the chair, into the couch, whatever you're using as a surface. So then you're going to start pressing the foot into the bed, whatever you have, 60-70% intensity without moving anything in your body, so focus on that inter-rotation, so you should feel your muscles in your inner thigh engaging. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax, and then the other way around. Try to think about bringing the foot out of the couch, but it won't move, right, because you're in the range, but you're trying to engage or your glute stuff or your outer leg stuff as if you wanted to do it. As hard as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Good. So just chill there in the stretch for a bit longer. Maybe you can go a bit deeper. Now, actually, this is ideal to do with a couch, bed, something like this. I'm doing with a weight because it's easier to record this way, but actually if I push hard enough, that weight might move, like kettlebell. So that's why bed is even better, because it cannot move, no matter how hard you try. All right, next round and last one. So give your best. Start pressing the ankle into the bed, into the couch, 50-60% intensity. Engage your whole leg. If it's your first time doing it, be careful, but also maybe hard to find those muscles, so it's okay. As hard as you can, safely. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release, and the other way around. Try to squeeze your whole outer hip stuff to try to bring the heel off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Now bring your chest, your body back to center, and now let's just do lift the leg off below the floor and move it to the side. If that's uncomfortable, you can lie with your belly down and then do inter-rotation there. Here we're just trying to do inter-rotation of the hip, so the knee is pinned on the ground, so that helps you that you cannot compensate. But if your knee hurts, you can lie belly down. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Switching sides. So just going to around. Find your position. If you're using a chair, wall, or a bed, then use it. And then going to the other side. So first, keep your pelvis still, and from there, just turn around to find that inter-rotation stretch. That's it, then we're just going to chill with the stretch for a minute and a half. So here, try to bring your breath down, just relax down. So feel, internal rotation of the hip can always be tricky and can feel a bit uncomfortable. In this position in particular, for a lot of people, including me, it always feels better than in other positions in that hip extension bias. So it's another variation you can use. Almost there. We're going to start soon with those isometric contractions. So again, whenever you do your isometrics, try to engage your whole body. So that tension in your whole body translates to more tension in your hip, and you make even higher intensity. All right, so start pressing the ankle into the wall, into the couch, whatever you're using. 50, 60% intensity. 80, 90. If you feel safe already, maybe go as hard as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. And the other way around. Try to engage your whole outer hip stuff as if you were trying to bring the foot off the block. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And ready for second last round. So give it your best this time. Try to go as hard as you can. So start pressing 50, 60% intensity. Start bringing it up to 80, 90. And now as hard as you can, 10 more seconds, as hard as you can, as if you wanted to break the bed, whatever you're using. 3, 2, 1, relax. And the other way around, squeeze your outer hip stuff as if you're trying to bring the foot off the bed. Keep squeezing if you're feeling that cramp, great. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Come back to center. If you need, lie belly down. Otherwise here, just do some active hip rotation into that internal hip rotation there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. All right. So, great. We're done with that. Maybe you need the sticks for the next one, maybe not. We definitely won't need that weight or that wall again. So for the next one, a few different setups you can use. I'm going to start, so next two we're going to focus on that hip into extension, so working on kind of that splits position for the back hip. So we're going to go into a lunge. Now, there's a few different setups. You can have the foot down this way. You can have some blocks as support in front of you in case you need it. For me, I'm going to bend the front knee, then bring it down. Just stay there. That's comfortable for me. If it's not for you, again, you can maybe sit on some blocks or change maybe into hip external rotation if that feels comfortable for you. But I want you to be in a place where left hand is either on blocks or the floor, right hand goes back to grab the right ankle. And then you squeeze the foot if you can. So the blocks are handy to bring your chest up a tiny bit. So this is like a couch stretch. If you want to change this for couch stretch, that's fine as well. We're just going to squeeze as hard as we can, finding that stretch in the quad and the hip. We're not going to stay here in the passive stretch too long. Instead, just 50 more seconds. What we do now is we're going to engage the hamstring, the glute, as if we were trying to bring the heel into the glute even more. So squeeze as hard as you can, as if you wanted to actively bring the heel into the glute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And then press the foot into the hand, but don't let it win. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. And now, what we're going to do is release the hand, engage the glute. So try not to let the heel move at all. Release the glute, release the hand, and hold it there. Engage in the hamstring. Then grab it again, pull it, relax. We'll do 6 here. So engage the glute, engage the hamstring as hard as you can so that your heel doesn't move at all. And release. And grab it again. Bring it into your glute. Engage, hold it there. Release. That's 3. If you need to adjust the setup, for me, for example, it also feels nice here. Then engage with the foot down. Engage, release, hold it there. Last one. This will be pretty tiring. Engage as hard as you can into your glute. And hold it. Hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you are cramping, hold it a bit longer and slowly release. Good. Now, and if you're doing it couch stretch, then in your couch stretch with the foot up, you can do hips low there and stay there a bit longer. Otherwise, just switching sides. And we'll work a bit more on the hip. Again, trying to keep this practice around the 45-minute mark. So that's why I don't want to spend that long there. But let me switch sides. If you have more time, then by all means, go for a bit longer into that couch stretch, which is great. So find your setup that works well for you on this side. And then grab the ankle into the glute. Find a stretch. We won't stay too long in the passive stretch here. But for now, just try to find a stretch as much as you can. And we'll start now. So first, just isometrically try to bring the heel into the glute as hard as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then press the foot into the hand as hard as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then again, squeeze into your glute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax for a bit. That's quite tiring. And then squeeze the heel into the glute. Hold it there and release. Squeeze as much as you can and bring it back. For 5 reps. Squeeze it. Engage the hamstring, the glute. Try not to let it move down. Release. Another one. That's 2. 5 reps. Squeeze. 3. 4. 5. Hold it. Now we're going to hold it. Squeeze there. Keep bringing it as much as you can. Try to find that cramp or that crampy sensation. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Whew. Nice. All right. I know that's tiring. So again, if you want to go for couch stretch with hips low, now go for it. Otherwise, next one I'm going to do. So this one, we're going to do hip extension lift offs, which you probably know already. So your setup here is, actually, sorry, starting with the right hip. So left knee down, left foot down. If you're quite flexible, you can bring it all the way back and from there lift off. Otherwise, find your position so you can tuck the toes. That will make it a bit easier to lift. Then you can also, if it's quite hard, you can grab a pile of blocks or something else to rest the chest down and bring it a bit more forward, and that will make it much easier there. So find your place that works for you, whatever that is. For me, usually I'm fine to do it all the way down with the hands to the sides. I like that position. Now what we're going to do, hip lifts, but with the knee bend. So first, going to bend the knee as much as you can, bringing that heel into the glute, and then lift. Keep that bend for 1. Release. Then squeeze the heel into the glute again, and lift for 2. Again, we're doing 10. Squeeze the knee into the glute first, then lift up without releasing at all. 3. Let's go. 4. Your glute and hamstring should be burning. 5. Let's go. Squeeze, lift. 6. Squeeze into the glute, lift the heel up. 7. Squeeze into the glute, lift. 8. Let's go. Squeeze, lift. 9. Last one, we're going to hold for 10 seconds. So squeeze and lift for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It's quite hard to talk and do that. Release, and we'll go to the other side. All right. So again, do your setup on the other side. Take your time to find that place that works well for you. Then into the other side. So we're going to do only 1 round per side. If you have time, then do 2 rounds or even 3 per side to continue working that hip extension actively. So find whatever works for you, and squeeze the heel into the glute and lift for 1 and down. Squeeze the heel into the glute and lift. 2. Let's go. 3. Squeeze, lift. 4. Squeeze, lift. 5. Squeeze, lift. 6. Squeeze, lift. 7. Squeeze, lift. 8. 9. And last one, we're going to hold for 10 seconds. So squeeze, lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lift even higher. 8, 9, and 10. Relax. Nice. So again, if you want to do another round here, amazing. Otherwise, we'll go into the next one. So I'll explain it first. Your hamstrings might be a bit cooked now, so this will be good to stretch a bit. We're going to go into a pancake position. If this is too hard, you can sit on blocks. You can even bend the knees a bit. That's completely fine. I don't care if you bend the knees. But we're going to go into a pancake position. Now what we're going to do is, this will be high effort. So what you're trying to do, I'll show you first, is go down, but instead of collapsing down just with gravity, you're trying to pull yourself in. So imagine you're trying to lift the foot off the floor, but your foot is pinned on the ground. So since it cannot lift off, it's pulling your body into the ankle or into the foot as much as possible. But again, it's not gravity pulling you in, it's your own hip flexor kind of pulling you inside. Then going to turn around, trying to keep a squeezing, so squeeze your hip flexors on both sides, your inner thighs, to go to the left side. Then to come up, again, you're not just going to use your back muscles to pull you up. You're going to imagine as if you are here and you're trying to bring the foot down to the ground. But since your foot is already on the ground, it cannot go down. So you're pressing the hamstring, the heel onto the ground to lift yourself up. So you're not lifting yourself up using your back, which is easy. You're trying to make it hard for yourself because I love to make our lives hard here. That's how we improve. By pushing, you're staying low, and then push the hamstring low on the ground to bring yourself up. Okay? So we do very slow, very controlled, 3 rounds on each side. We rest a little bit, and then we do 3 in the opposite direction, and that's it. So you can start with whichever side you want. I'm going to start with the right, so if you want to follow me. Again, find your position. You need to bend the knees a bit. That's completely okay. If you need to sit on 1, 2, 3 blocks, whatever you need, that's fine as well. I care more about the effort. And again, the effort here is to pull yourself in and stretch the hamstring, engage to go to the other side, and then push the hamstring, strengthening the hamstring in that stretch position to pull you back up. Okay? So let's go for it. Hands behind your neck, in your chest, whatever you prefer. So you turn around, face the right foot first, then imagine pulling yourself in with your hip flexor, going as deep as you can. Keep engaging that hip flexor. You should feel the stretch. Then keep it low. Keep engaging, holding. Now start engaging your left hip flexor as well. So you're keeping it as slow as you can actively. Going all the way to the left, facing that left foot. Then think about pushing the heel into the ground, lifting yourself up using the hamstring. That's 1 rep. So it will be very high effort. So again, go to the right, start pulling yourself in as hard as you can, squeeze everything, your quad, your hip flexors, then keep it low, start going to the opposite side, keeping it strong and as low as you can, all the way to the left, and start pressing the heel on the mat to lift yourself up. That's 2. Last one, make it your best. Look to your right foot and start pulling yourself in. Hold it there as hard as you can, then start to move to the left. That's it, keep squeezing. Try to go a bit deeper each round. Squeeze your hip flexor, pull yourself deep into that left foot. Then start pressing the left ankle on the mat to pull yourself back up. All right, we wait 30 seconds. We rest 30 seconds rather, and we go to the opposite side. So you can bend the knees a bit if you want to release. Move your hips side to side, which can always, it's always, today we're not doing hip capsule cars here. Those are always good to do. And it just feels nice to release the hips. So feel free to do that a bit. Yes, 5 more seconds. So start going into the setup again. But this time we switch around. So we start with the left foot. Face that left foot. Square your chest forward onto the left foot. And start pulling yourself in. Squeezing the hip flexor as deep as you can go, pulling yourself in. Don't letting gravity do it. And start to squeeze the right hip flexor as well. You should even be shaking. I'm shaking here. Going all the way to the right. Then start pushing the heel into the ground to push yourself up, right? And lifting yourself up, you're pushing yourself up. Again, going to the left. Pull yourself in as hard as you can. Keep it low. Keep engaging. Bring it all the way to the right. Then push that right heel on the mat. Lift the head up. And last one, make it your best. Go to the left. Pull yourself in as hard as you can. Then bring it around. Keep it low, keep it low, keep it low. All the way to the right.
then push the right heel on the mat, engaging the hamstring, making it burn to pull yourself up. Nice. So that's it. Last one. If you want to do another round of this is great. So you can do another round. Another thing I forgot to mention, but if you do this more than one time, then you know. In your pancake, I mean, we're going to the side, so we're working the hamstring anyway. But the more you open your feet, the more you're going into your inner thighs. If you keep them a bit closer together, then your inner thighs are more relaxed and you're purely working the hamstrings. So, I mean, I would suggest, because we're already going deep into the side, to do it with the feet as wide as you can, if you can. All right, so next one. So I'll show you a setup. Here, maybe you need a few blocks. So setup is going to be left foot in, then right foot to the side, trying to find some sort of stretch in your inner thigh. So here, try to bring the chest up and you'll feel a stretch in your inner thigh. If you feel impingement in the hip, then don't go as deep. And if you need, you can always sit on 1-2 blocks and that will make it easier. So find your place where you feel the stretch or not, but that it feels comfortable in the hip and you can actually manage the position. So left foot in, right foot down, try to bring the foot on the ground. So you're working, if you're here, that's fine as well. If you're here, you're just working the hamstring rather than the inner thigh. This one, I want to work on the inner thigh. So ideally you go down, but if that's not possible for you and you want to work the hamstring, that's fine too. So just trying to go there, trying to find a stretch in the inner thigh, which depending on how flexible you are, for most people this will be quite intense already. If you're quite flexible, it can be a bit hard to find the stretch there. For me it's a bit hard, but you can find it. And just stay another 40 seconds with the stretch here. Now if you don't feel a stretch because there's some impingement that doesn't allow you to find the stretch, then you always stay away from that point when you feel the impingement. And instead of stretching, you don't need to spend time in the stretch and you can go straight away into your isometrics. Always isometric when in those positions where you don't feel any pain. So just 10 more seconds. If you're not feeling the stretch, then this passive stretch is not doing much for you, but it's okay. Next time you do the video, you can move along. And I will do some isometrics. So just 2 rounds. So first one, we're trying to push the foot into the ground. Again, if you're here, you're working more the hamstrings. If you're here, then you're working those inner thighs. So try to engage your inner thighs and push the foot into the ground. Here, be gentle, especially if it's your first time doing it. Go up to 70-80% intensity and maybe no more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Then engage, trying to lift the foot off the floor. So engaging the whole outer hip stuff as if you wanted to lift the foot off the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Forgot to mention in the beginning, but of course, if you're in a point where you can actually lift the foot off the floor, then you're likely don't feel a stretch and you should try to go a bit towards that side so you cannot actually lift the foot off the floor. We'll do some lift ups after the next round, so then you have the chance to lift the foot off the floor. All right, next one. So start engaging your inner thighs, pushing the foot into the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and straight away, trying to lift the foot off the floor as hard as you can. It's squeezing the whole side of your body. Make sure you don't feel impingement. If you feel impingement, step out a little bit of it, but keep putting effort. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And I will do some lift ups. So if you have impingement with the lift ups, again, do them at a point where it feels okay. So for lift ups, chances are you're going to have to lean to the side. Of course, if you lean a lot, then it's very easy. So you're trying to find a place where you're trying to just lift up a tiny bit and it's kind of hard to do that. All right, yes, 10 lift ups for 1 and down, 2 and down, 3 and down, 4 and down, 5 down, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold it now for 1, hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Relax. Good. Going to the other side to counterbalance that pose. Some external rotation, hip stretch feels nice if you want to do it. And then going to the other side. And this is the last thing we're doing today. So make it your best. Use it. All right. So try to find a stretch. If here you find an impingement, your option is to go out of the impingement or maybe turn the foot up. And that way you can go into the hamstring. If you bring the foot up, if you're quite flexible, it's quite easy to go deep into it and actually lift the foot up. Well, actually, pretty strong there, but you can also go do it there instead of here. Now I want to, if you can, I want to work on that inner thigh, on that abduction rather than flexion. So try to keep your hips to the front and then feel that inner thigh stretch. Again, if you don't feel the stretch because you have an impingement, then maybe you just move another 30 seconds or just stay there or pointing the foot up. Try to relax down, breathe. And now we'll start with those isometrics. So start pressing the foot into the ground. Don't do it gently this first round, don't go too hard, 50, 60%, maybe 70, 80. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then the opposite way around is engaging your hip to try to lift the foot off the floor. Of course it won't lift. As hard as you can this time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Relax for a bit. Maybe try to find a better stretch as long as you're not feeling the impingement there, which is quite common. If you feel the impingement, then you can release a bit. And next round. This time you can go a bit harder if you feel safe. Be careful because those inner thighs can sometimes feel intense. So if it feels a bit too much, don't go too intense. And we'll start. Start pressing the foot into the ground. As hard as you can, maybe, for a last bit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and then engage, trying to lift the foot off the floor. As hard as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now lean to the side so you can actually, up to a point where you can actually lift. And we'll do some lift-offs now, actually lifting. 10 reps for 1. Lift and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and hold now. Hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Relax. Oh, that feels intense. If you want to counterbalance, after that it feels nice to do some external rotation to stretch that part. And we're done for the day today. So if you want to do anything else, more internal rotation, more hamstring, if you're working on splits or more couch stretch, hips low, whatever you want to do, go for it. Otherwise, good enough session, trying to hit everything, so feel quite intense. So very good job. Keep it up and let me know of anything. Thank you.